Okay, it's November 29th, and I think this is going to be the last day for this cocoon bin. This has not been as successful as I'd hoped. I feel like it started good, and then it just kind of, I don't know. I looked at a couple other cocoon videos, and it seems like European night crawlers might be just kind of difficult to hatch from cocoon, and I'm splitting my European night crawlers into a bin out of the worm factory. So I'm just going to go ahead and move whoever is in here to that bin. There's nice. There's a worm right on top. There's 3 right on top. 4. So I think, I've successfully proved that I can. This is definitely wetter than previous iterations, and there's that piece of apple. Oh, look at that. The mite. There's a worm. Another mite. I think this is the apple that I had put in here. And there's one really little one on there. Looks like that might be a super tiny baby. So I think I kind of proved that I can start from some cocoons. There were 50 in here originally. I don't think I ever even got to 50 worms though. But I feel like one batch hatched and then died, and then another batch hatched and then died. There's a few more. I'm not sure what food is right there, but there's a couple more of them. There's one hiding out right there, I think. No. So I just think that they'll be warmer in the other bin, and I want everybody working on this pumpkin I'm about to drop in there. And I have I started a cocoon bin over like a week ago, thinking that my African night crawlers cocoons were going to be here. And they have been delayed, but the bin's been sitting there working for a week, so that's not necessarily a bad thing. I had read that you should actually start a bin a week before you're expecting to put worms in it. So anyway, these guys are just going to move straight over to the new bin that I'm doing. And I'm going to pull a bunch of worms out of my Worm Factory 360, which is where these cocoons came from originally. Yeah, there's quite a bit going on in here today, which is nice to see. This bin still feels a little colder, which surprises me. Only, I guess it's closer to the door, but it's higher up. Since it doesn't have a lid, I'm trying to make sure I keep the cats out of it. The moisture level was definitely better once I put cardboard in the bottom. It just kind of helped, I think. So yeah, for the first worm bin, it's about a month old. It might be a little bit older than that. Keep finding that piece of apple. I just reached all the way down to the bottom, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one is super new. It's kind of hard to understand just how small they are. I have really little hands, but it looks like I'm super zoomed in, and it's not. It's crazy how little some of these are. And they have to be pretty new wisps. You see just how little they are. This is one of the bigger ones I found. I always get nervous because sometimes they're so dark from the castings that I'm like, oh my gosh, this one died, but he's not dead. It's a pretty new wisp. It's hard to describe just how skinny it is. It's tiny. I mean, maybe a pencil lead. It's kind of fun now. Pretty much everywhere I look, there's a baby. I just can kind of turn over a pile and there's another one. So I'm debating whether or not I'm actually going to count them out and see how many there are before I move them to their new home. But realistically, I'm probably running out of time to do that today. So we'll see how adventurous I get here in a little while when I'm ready to do the other bin. But they may just be getting dumped in. But definitely, I mean, I feel like this was successful. And I'm pretty excited to try to get the African night crawlers to hatch from cocoons now. And they've been in the box. It says 2 to 3 weeks to hatch. They have been shipped, gosh, like 10 days ago now. So anyway, I'd like to get them here and get them acclimated before they're ready to hatch. But I'm really glad that I started that bin a week ago. And hopefully they'll be as successful. I mean, ultimately, I think this is successful. I think I probably had grander ideas for how fast and how many, and I don't think I kept the initial batch alive. But these guys seem to be doing good, so overall I feel good. I don't really see any cocoons anymore. Not super looking for them, but I don't see any. It's pretty much clean in here. I think it was the right amount of food, right amount of moisture, probably just a little cold. Other than that, I'm going to quit messing with them so that I can move them to their new home later today. Away and realized I have a stowaway. So I'll have to get him back in.